Hey, it's Friday. Let's form check. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Form Check Friday. I'm Paul. I've been running around like crazy this morning, cleaning the house. My girlfriend's coming into town today. We're doing the long distance thing. So I'm gonna have to run through these pretty quickly. So if you see me at a little bit quicker clip today, it's because she's flying in and I got to pick her up at the airport. Training update. You guys seemed to like that last time. I'm going to do a quick one, which is basically telling you that there's not much to report this week. I've been trying to baby my shoulder a little bit and just not piss it off. I tried training through it. It just kept getting worse. So now I'm taking the other approach, which is do no harm. So I've been scaling everything back. I cut out all the upper body barbell stuff. In fact, I'll show you something I thought was kind of cool. Unracking and racking the bar in the press and the bench seemed to really irritate the shoulder. It's like something about the position. It's unstable. So I was thinking it'd be great if I had access to machines or something like that could control the range of motion. This would be a good time to use something that just let me get in the perfect position before loading the area. And I was like, do I want to buy a bench press machine? Like that seems kind of expensive. So I think I mentioned this last week, but I bought these like lever arms, and you can see so they attach to the squat rack and they're, it's just on a hinge, and then you can load it and you can set these, uprights, or you can set the position like kind of anywhere. Like they're pretty cool. You can put them on the ground and do I used them for shrugs the other day, and you can do rows with them and stuff. And if you put them up high, you can do bench press variations. But it's cool because it lets me get perfectly set up in a position that I know isn't going to hurt my shoulder. And then I can just work in that range of motion. And then I was thinking it'd be great to do overhead presses. And I found some YouTube video where they had you hook cables on here. You can see like I'm running like a cable. And so I could do seated overhead presses, and it's just been fun to try something new. So I'm trying to not be depressed about not being able to do proper barbell training like I have been in the past when I had an injury. And instead I'm trying to be more optimistic and like, hey, this is a good time to experiment with new exercises and just try different things, and who knows what that'll lead to. Maybe I'll write another book that's just all based on using lever arms for your training. But I'm hopeful. It seems to be calming down a little bit. It's still a little hit or miss, and I was vacuuming and it was really bugging me. So but tonight is squat and deadlift. That doesn't seem to bother it, so I'm gonna get in and try and have at least one productive workout this week. So that's really what's been going on with me. But let's talk about you guys. It's Form Check Friday again, and you guys posted. I had to cut it off. You guys threw up I think we got 5 videos today, and one of them's a power clean, which is the first power clean we've had on this channel. So I'm super excited about that. Something new. And even though I hate the power clean, we'll talk about that. I'm sure I'll go on a rant. But thank you for your submissions, and let's dive into the first guy today. So as you guys know, people just joining the channel, I have not seen any of these videos. So we are doing this together for the first time. And let's go. Okay. Hello, love the book. This is the final set of my last squat workout, 280 pounds. Not too happy with my form on this one. I hit the uprights on one of the reps. That happens. Issues and concerns: depth looks short, back angle looks too upright. How do I get myself to bend over more? Good question. I got a couple clients right now that I'm just really trying to get them to understand that concept. So we'll get into it. When I try and bend over more, I feel excessive strain in my back. Is my knee and hand placement position correct? My lower back always feels a little strained after squat workouts. Is this normal, or is it due to bad form? It's usually due to bad form, but yeah, your back shouldn't be hurting at the end of the day. Like after, you should feel like you worked out, but it shouldn't be irritated. That could be the form. We'll take a look. It could be just something going on with your back. I don't really know, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Any feedback on what you see that needs correction would be appreciated. All right, let's take a look and see what we got here. Okay. I got another little, I have two plugins. I'm just sharing tech stuff with you guys. I have two plugins that I found that I really like. One takes YouTube Shorts and gives me the proper player here so I can control things, because those shorts you can't pause. And then I just found another one that gets rid of all the suggested YouTube crap on the sides. You guys can't see the dumb stuff I'm looking at online. All right, so let's take a look. I'll probably watch a couple reps, just get a feel for you, and then I'll chime in when I think I have something to offer. I assume you're a new guy, so if I haven't seen your squats before, and I apologize if I have, but welcome and thanks for posting. Okay, what the hell are those? Okay, I think, are you squatting in running shoes, or are those actual? I'm not up to speed on the current lifting style, but we'll talk about that. All right, let me watch a few of these. Bar placement looks pretty good. Hand placement, I can't really see. I can see your left wrist, and it looks pretty straight over there. So upper body looks pretty good. A little bit rounded in the upper back. Sometimes that's just how you're built. But to get more of an arch, it's kind of hard to tell here, but you can see your upper back's a little bit round right there. What we want is that to go kind of the opposite way, almost like you're setting your back for a deadlift. So instead of being here like this, you're here. You're still leaned over, but your upper back is extended and tight. But we'll see what happens with that and if it's a big problem. Hip drive looks pretty good. Are these lifters? Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. I can't tell if your shoes are weightlifting shoes or if they're running shoes. They kind of look like weightlifting shoes, but they also don't. So I'm looking for a strap. And weightlifting shoes always have a metatarsal strap, but there's something there. Anyway, I'm not going to go on a rant on weightlifting shoes. I've done that too many times on this channel. But if you are not wearing weightlifting shoes, you need to be wearing weightlifting shoes. They make a huge difference. If you are wearing weightlifting shoes, then I'm going to shut up and just say good work. But if you aren't wearing weightlifting shoes, you have to get weightlifting shoes. They matter. They will fix your form immediately. And they're just it's non-negotiable. So make sure you get them if these are not weightlifting shoes. And you can leave a comment, let me know, so I can keep myself up to speed on the styles. All right, let's get back to your form here. They look like lifting shoes. I think those are lifting shoes. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Also, your belt looks like a Velcro belt. So I'm just nitpicking easy stuff right now before we. Yeah, if that's a neoprene belt or a soft belt, you want to upgrade that if you can. If it's in the budget, shoes are the first thing you need, and a belt is the second thing that you need. And you need a proper powerlifting belt. So I don't know how tall you are. If you're 6 feet and over, you need a 4-inch width belt for squats and presses, and you need a 3-inch belt for deadlifts. If you're under 6 feet, you can probably just get away with a 3-inch belt all the way around. You can go to my website, hornstrength.com/resources. I've got an equipment list. You can look at recommended belt manufacturers, but a proper hard leather weightlifting belt is really going to make a big difference here, because it feels like a tire around your stomach, and it's just going to help you stay tighter. So, okay, basic stuff out of the way. Let's get into the form here. We'll start. Your upper body looks good. Stance, I can't tell the width from this angle, but I assume it's okay. It looks pretty good. Toe angle looks decent. And let's just watch. Let me really focus and watch a couple of these. Depth was a little short there, like you said. And I see what you're talking about with leaning. I mean, these are decent squats. So let me just lay that out in the beginning. I think you hit it on that one. Let me see. Yeah, you nailed depth on that one. So if we look at your kneecap right here and the hip crease, we're going up. I really need to get like a pen, but we're down like that. So that's good, because if I put a marble on your thigh here, it's gonna roll this way, not towards your feet or towards your toes. And that's exactly what I want. So that's depth. You can hit depth, which tells me your stance is probably good. It doesn't look too wide. If it's too wide, that oftentimes makes depth challenging. So I wouldn't worry about depth. You just have to hit it. And I know that you can. So it's kind of on you. Good hip drive, good pop out of the bottom. Oh, that one was shallow. So the difference between that one, for sure, is you just cut it off too high. Yeah. So you can see here is totally different, right? So now your knee's there, and now we're going up like that, which means if I drop the marble here, it's going to roll this way. And that's not what we want. You just have to go deeper. We know you can, you know where it is. So you just have to go down there. I would highly recommend, let me just watch the final rep and then but the hip drive is good. You're staying leaned over. In terms of leaning over on the way down and doing that soon enough, let me see here. Yeah, I know. I see what you mean. You're just trying to stay up a little too vertical. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sorry. Well, yeah, you could, I mean, you're not, it's not a big issue. You're leaning over. You could lean over a little bit more, a little bit sooner, but I don't think it's really like negatively affecting everything. Like I'm not that, I wouldn't be yelling at you. I want to look at your knees. See if they're sliding forward here. No. I mean, yeah, these are good squats. I think the thing that's going to help you is just doing some pause squats. So two things are going to help you. Doing pause squats, incorporating pause squats into your warm up, and that will just give you a sense of where the bottom is and what it feels like to be balanced and tight at the bottom. So if you haven't seen this before, if you go to my website, HORNSTRENGTH.com/videos, and I have all the exercises down here. You can look at the pause squat here. So you basically just take the bar down. You're going to do it with the empty bar. You're going to do it with maybe the first warm up with weight, and you just take it down and pause, and then you establish the. God, I'm sorry. I've got a little. Excuse me. Okay. So you take it down, you pause, and you just make sure that you're in a tight bottom position. And you can look down here in the description, and I explain exactly what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be asking yourself. So I've run through this a million times on the channel. I'm just going to point you to it. But God, frog. Okay. But do those. I would incorporate those into your workout as a warm up. So it just every time you squat, you're going to do a set with just the empty bar, and then maybe the set with like 95 or 135, whatever your first warm up is, and just get the sensation of the bottom position, what it feels like to be tight. The second thing that you should do, because you have a rack that will let you do it, is to take your band pegs and strap a, let me see if I can find this video here. And you're going to strap a rubber band across the bottom of the rack. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. Like my man Chris here, who's one of my clients. So he had the same issue. So we take a rubber band, you can see it right here, and you just you take your band pegs and you strap it across the bottom. You got to play around with the height to find the right height for you. But usually it's like, you'll figure out the hole, right? So you just got to like film it and then watch it and then adjust it up or down. And then you're just going to squat, you strap a rubber band, and then you squat and you touch it. And it just gives you some tactile feedback to know that you actually hit the bottom, right? So that fixes a lot. The good thing about the band is, you like a box you can sit on and you can unload, but a band you have to stay tight. So definitely try that, and that will just serves as a marker for depth. And after a while, you'll just get the hang. You just kind of need to program where the correct bottom position is. So use the band, work on some pause squats, just to really dial in the feeling of the bottom position. And again, the instructions are in that video on YouTube, and I think you're good. Like, these are overall very good. Let me just make sure I hit all your questions. Depth looks short. Yeah, back angle too upright. You just got to bend over a little bit faster. You just got to. So here's the thing with this stuff. Like, you got to try it. So when you're warming up, you got to just like attempt to do too much. Like, if you're trying to correct an issue, don't make, and you're practicing with lightweight, don't make every rep feel like you think it should feel, because that's wrong. We're trying to fix that. You got to make it feel different. So in your case, like, that means you got to do a rep where you lean over too much, or what feels like too much, and you got to just try it. And that's probably going to be correct. It's like if people who have issues with depth, I'll tell them, go too deep. Give me a rep that's too deep. And they're like, okay. And then they do one that they think I'll say that's way too deep, and it's perfect. And I'm like, that's it. And we just keep reiterating that for a while, you're going to feel like you're going too deep before it becomes the new normal. For a while, you're going to feel like you're leaning over more than you should, until that becomes the new normal. Does that make sense? Okay. Lower back strain, I didn't see anything in there that would indicate. I would get a better belt and maybe work on upper back tightness, right? So like I said, when you unrack the bar, you're kind of leaned over like this, you're kind of hunched forward. You want to be up. So chest up, shrug up into the bar, arch that upper back tight, and then take the bar out of the rack. Keep this up here tight, right? Don't lose it. And then do your rep and try and keep it tight the whole time. And then when you lean over and you go from one rep to the next, you're probably going to loosen up a little bit. That just happens. So before each subsequent rep, make sure you retighten your upper back. Okay? And but there's nothing that tells me like your back should definitely hurt. Definitely get a better belt. That might help, but there's no like, this is definitely the reason this guy's back hurts. So just keep going and keep me posted. And if you keep having issues, we'll keep working on it. So thanks for your submission. Hope that helps. And we'll move on to the next guy. Okay. I have got to go here. Okay. All right. The doctor. I'm still slogging away on my form. Your feedback from last week was 0 hip drive. Here's a set focused on hip drive. Let me know what you think. Okay, here we go. So we've been working on this one, and we keep getting better. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Okay. Okay, no. All right. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna save this video because sometimes I need to explain what's happening. You're here. I'm gonna explain it, and then you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna see why it's wrong or what I'm talking about. So I want your hips to bounce straight up and down, right? Just up and down. I don't want them to go in a circle. So you'll notice that you come down and then you push your ass back and up in this circular pattern. Okay, so just watch your butt as you go down and watch it shoot back and up. It's like you're, yeah, you could really see it on that one. And you see your knees shoot back too. So you're going down and see if this was a heavy weight and you did that, your back angle would change dramatically more horizontal. So that's not what I'm talking about. The knees shouldn't shoot back that much. Your ass should not go back and up. It should just go straight up. So you have to think about keeping your knees forward when you drive your butt up. All right, so let me see if I can pause this. And so again, this is like the other guy. You should be way more leaned over by now than this. Okay, so look at this back angle here, right? So you're like this. That's not it. You're like this. Okay, like that. Okay, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna compare that to. Look at your angle now on the way up. This is pretty much the angle that you want, that your body is assuming to help you lift the weight. This is the correct back angle. But notice how much more leaned over you are now. Now you're like this, right? So you're coming down like this, hitting the bottom, and then because you didn't get the correct back angle set before you got to the bottom, you were still too high. As you start to drive up, your body assumes that angle. And the hips go back and then you lean over more, right? And then you're gonna come back up. You need to be this leaned over on the way down, by the halfway point in the way down, okay? And all your weight's back here in your heels right now. So this is not balanced over the midfoot. You're sitting back too much. So let's watch another one. See, you're still too upright here. You're almost at the bottom and you're still too upright. And now there we go. Now it changed, right? Now you took the back angle that you wanted. Okay, so real quick. I don't want you to think at all about sitting back into the bottom. All right, so don't get that out of your head because we need to overcorrect you. When you start the squat, you are thinking about touching your chest, okay, your sternum. You're gonna stamp that on the ground between your toes. Okay, so let me see where I can see your toes. Here, right in between your toes, dead center, you're trying to touch this point to that point on the rubber mat immediately. Okay, now how are you gonna do that? You can't do it like this because your chest is facing the wall. You have to lean over to stamp it. So, and then the knees out is just, if you don't push your knees out, you can't touch your chest to the ground, right? Because they'll block you. So just move your knees out of the way to clear space, shove them out real hard, and stamp your chest on the ground, meaning get more leaned over. And it's gonna feel, like I just said with the last guy, it's gonna feel like you're too leaned over. I don't care. What you think is right is wrong right now, so it has to feel wrong to be right in the future. All right, so then then that's it. You're just gonna hang onto that angle, right? Get to the bottom and then drive your butt up. Like, don't overdo it. Just drive your butt straight up, and then you have to think about the weight on your foot. Okay, pressure on the toes and the heels, right? This gradient should be even. And in your case, I actually want you to think about keeping a little bit more weight on the toes because you have a tendency to get back on your heels too much. So I want you to think about pressure on the toes as you come up out of the bottom. Don't let the knees shoot back. Keep the knees forward, keep a little bit of weight on your toes, and drive your butt straight up. That's it. Lean over way more right away. Stay leaned over the entire time until you get almost to the top. So you're setting that back angle by the halfway point on the way down, and you're keeping it till you get near the top on the way up. It never changes after that. Once you lean over, it's done. That's the back angle. Okay, weight stays a little bit more on the toes. Hips go straight up and down, not back and up, just up. Okay? That's the deal for you. So, and again, practicing, this is all a problem of not leaning over enough too soon. If you lean over more, if you were here right now, oh God, I suck at drawing. If your back angle was more like this right now, you'd be good. This rep would be fine. But everything, all the problems that you're having, the scooping, the whole thing, it's because you're not leaning over enough on the way down. Okay? So lean over more. That's it. And then let's work on it. And we'll check in next week and do it again. Okay. Next into the tank. First posting here. I hope I'm not out of bounds by posting a power clean video. I've decided at age 51 to try to put in the effort and get the hang of power cleans to use as a light pull. And because I found that they're kind of fun, I've been doing them once a week. I think I've corrected an arm pull, but I believe my real problem is the catch. I seem to have trouble catching the bar on the delts, and I tend to favor catching it on my wrists and sometimes slams into my upper chest. Yes, that nice bruise you get there. No matter how hard I try, any cues to fix this bad habit would help. Of course, you may see something I'm completely missing. Definitely would like to hear any advice on improvement. Okay, Paul. Nice, another Paul. So let's talk about this. All right, let me just watch it and then we'll get into it. All right, Paul. I mean, so just threw it down. Like, I'm done with this. All right, man. So we're going to start with some minutia here. Get weightlifting shoes. You need them, especially if you're doing Olympic lifts. You need weightlifting shoes. Nike, Reebok, Adidas. Go to my website, hornstrength.com/equipment. There's recommendations, but any weightlifting shoe that's a dedicated weightlifting shoe, not like a CrossFit hybrid, will work, and it will improve this whole thing. So you need weightlifting shoes. Okay, I've ranted on that already in this video. So aside from that, your grip's too narrow. So it's not a deadlift. It's not a deadlift grip. Your hands should be usually about a hand width wider than where you deadlift. Okay? So I'm assuming you deadlift there. Okay? So you probably need your hand about there. So your hand should be right about here. Okay? So move your grip, and that will give you more room to rack the bar properly. Okay? And to get it into the correct jumping position on your leg. Like when you widen your grip, right, the bar will be higher on when your arms are hanging, when the weight's hanging from your hands in the hang position, and the wider your grip is, the higher the barbell will be. And it's going to be too low if you have your deadlift grip. Okay, because we need to get it to a certain point on your leg for the jump. And okay, so widen your grip, easy one. And then your pull is actually pretty good. Like, it's on your legs. Let's see. You don't have a bad arm pull here. It's not it's not egregious. You need to take a little bit of time. You're kind of rushing these, right? You can see you're kind of putting it down, resetting, and then just going. But you're not really resetting. Like, you're kind of jerking the bar off the ground. So just like a deadlift, once you're here and you touch your shins to the bar, you're gonna breathe, squeeze, pause, pull. breathe, squeeze, pause, pull. Just like a normal deadlift. This is a deadlift with a jump. That's what a power clean is. It's a deadlift with a jump and a catch. So you got to get the deadlift part right. And if you're yanking the bar off the ground, you wouldn't do that with a deadlift, I hope. You need to get tight and then ease the bar off the ground. So take a breath, set your back, pause to make sure that you're tight and that you didn't bump the bar. And the pause is just a beat, and then pull. Breathe, squeeze, pause, pull. Okay, you're just like, from here, you're just like setting and going. And that's gonna make it more likely that the bar swings away from you. All right, so power cleans, let's see. So we talked about wider grip. Your rack isn't that, I mean, it's that one, yeah. You caught it in your hands and put it on your shoulder. That one was better. So you see, right, you're getting it here. You see how you let go with your fingers, right? To let yourself get that rack position, but you caught it with tight fists. And then you put it on your shoulders and let your fingers on, right? So that's what's gonna happen in a proper power clean for you. Right? Again, if with the wider grip, you're going to have more room out here. Okay? Instead of being tucked in like this, you'll be out here like this, and you're going to be able to get to that position a little bit better. But that position that you're ending in here with your fingers, just kind of like two fingers on the bar, that's where the bar needs to land, in that position. So you've pointed out your problem, which is your rack, your jump's pretty good. Like your arm pull's like not a big deal. But you're catching it in your hands with tight fists and then setting it into the rack position. And what is supposed to happen is you jump, and then before the bar travels up, and then before it touches you, you're already here to receive it, right? It's not you catch it here and then you set it here. It's you beat the bar to this position. So you need to jump and then immediately slam your elbows up, right? Like once you put all that upward momentum on the bar, then like you finish the jump, and then it's just about like, but right before you hit the ground, you got to get here so that you beat the bar to this position. Okay. And that's a kind of a trust issue, or like a commitment issue. You have to understand that you can do that. And it feels way better, as you probably know, when you hit that position, right? When it lands on the meat of your deltoids, it doesn't hurt. It feels great, actually. But when you catch it down here and you bump your collarbone, it's painful. That one was better. So you have to, going back to your fingers, you have to let it go. Not entirely, right? You're guiding the bar up. But really, like after you jump, don't try and white knuckle it because you're only going to be able to catch it here that way. You have to let go and trust that it's going to land on the meat of your deltoids. I mean, you could catch it like this, really. If you just jump, if you do this with a light bar, you can jump, put your arm straight out like that, and it'll land right on the meat of your deltoids, right? So you've got to like jump and then let go, and then just worry about being here to meet the bar when it comes back down, okay? And you can practice that with lightweight and what they call, like, I don't know if you know what a clean pull is, but let me see if I can find one. Okay. So if you look at this exercise, right? And I just found this one randomly. So you don't need to start from the floor. You can practice this with the empty bar, and you can just start it, or something you kind of need a little weight usually. So maybe some lightweight just to get the feel for it. But you can start it from above the knee, right? So let's say that's your starting position. And then she's not going to jump, right? She's going to just use her hips to make the bar weightless, okay? Now, I don't want you to do this exercise. I'm just trying to illustrate a point here. So let's say we're starting from here, like just above the knee, or you can start from below the knee, but for this exercise, the point of it is to work on the top position, so you don't need to go all the way to the ground. So let's say you're starting from here, and what you're working on, and notice she's not really jumping either. She's just using her hips to get that coming up on her toes. So she's doing the full, what they call triple extension, ankles, knees, hips. But the whole point is she's getting the feel for how the bar kind of goes weightless. How when you pull it in to the hips and then you do what would be the jump in the full version, the bar kind of floats up a little bit, goes weightless. Now what I want you to do is this same exercise where you're not really actually leaving the ground. You're just trying to make the bar float, right? But I want you to catch it here. So I want you to complete it. You come up on your toes, the bar goes weightless, and then you practice not only throwing it up, right, by doing the jump essentially without your feet leaving the ground, but then also getting used to it, allowing it to float up and quickly getting under it to meet it, right? Whipping your elbows up fast so that you beat the bar. So that bar goes up and I'll go this way. It goes up, it floats, and as it starts to come down, boom, you're here. Then it hits your shoulders, right? That's the whole thing here. Floats up, and then as it's here, boom, you're meeting it already in this position. If you catch it down here and then put it here, you're late, right? Or you caught it, you weren't in the right position to receive the bar yet. You got to be fast with the elbows. You got to make it, throw it up as high as you can, and then just the second thought, your first thought with the clean, the focus of the first half of the rep, let's say, is all about getting that jump. That's your one shot to put as much momentum on the bar as you can. So it's all about jumping as high as you can with straight elbows. Once you're done with that, your focus shifts entirely to get in the receiving position as fast as I can. Like jump and then boom. Oops, sorry, I stomped and scared my dog. So it's all about like just being in that position to receive the bar as fast as you can be. And one of the things that will help you, or just conceptually, which is a weird little thing, but it works, is if you think about stomping your feet. So what I'll yell at my clients is like, I want to hear your feet when you land. I want to hear an audible stomp, which will be a lot louder with your weightlifting shoes that you're going to get. And there's something about focusing on a stomp that kind of locks those movements together. It's like you stomp and the elbows fly up. It's like, bam. And just having someone concentrate on the stomp oftentimes fixes or sort of locks those pieces together, where it's like this one motion of just like, boom, not like, right? It's just like, bam. So your elbows have two options here, okay? Think about it this way. You have two options for your elbows. Straight and locked. That's option number one. And option number two is here in the rack position, pointing to the wall, not down, pointing to the wall. Your elbows can either be here or they can be here. They cannot be here. This is not an option. So if you're not here, then you're here, right? And getting into that position, and as they come up, stomp your feet real loud. You'll make this snappier, more efficient, and you will be faster with it because it's a speed thing, right? That's kind of the deal. That's the power part of it. So I would work on just practicing, not, from the hang, making the bar float, and then snapping your elbows up into position. Then when you get into the light weights, then you can start adding the stomp because you're going to do a full jump. Your feet are going to leave the ground. Okay, and then let go. That's the other thing, is you got to let it go. This is the contact point. It doesn't touch your hands. I mean, it doesn't land in your hands. It lands on your shoulders. So it's got to hit your shoulders. And if they're down like this, it's going to hurt. If they're up like this, it's going to feel great. Okay, so I got to move on. But work on those things. Let me know. Power clean takes a lot of practice, man, because it happens so fast. Like with squats and stuff, while you're squatting, I can say like, I can make corrections and you can change them, but the power clean happens like that. So I have to do all my coaching before you even leave the ground or before you even start, because it's over so quickly. So you have to think about a cue, do it, see how it felt, watch a video, and then think about it. Okay, that didn't work. Let me think about another thing. And then you just got to try it. So this exercise in particular is very hard to get down because it's so quick. So keep working on it. You just got to get a lot of reps in. Eventually you'll start to feel it. And once you feel the bar go weightless and you feel being in the landing position before it gets there and letting go, so you're just catching it in your fingertips and on your delts, you should be good to go. But overall, it's pretty good. Like, I've seen a lot of really bad cleans. This is like there's hope. There's hope that you'll dial this in. So thanks for your submission. Thanks for being a part of this, and we will move on. Okay. Oh, I like his Dr. Boring. Okay. All right. Next one. Squatted 140 kilos by 5 on Monday after recovering from pneumonia symptoms and severe weight loss on a hike. Let's see. I wanted to test if I can squat at least at 1 rep with 150, which was my working set before the track. So working set. So sorry, you went on a track, then you got pneumonia. I tried the first rep, felt too easy, so I thought depth was not an issue. So I attempted a second and completed the rep. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Anoop. All right, okay. Oh yeah, Anoop's in a tight space, so we're gonna give him. Okay. So, I mean, I think your depth is pretty good. Let me see. And then we're going to get into the problem. You got some knee cave here, it looks like. Depth is fine on that one. Knees are caving in a little bit. All right, man. So look, here's the real quick rundown on the problem here. You are doing the thing, and we may have talked about this in the past, where you're not tight, your back is soft, upper back in this position, and then as you start the descent, you're gonna flare it up. So you're here, and then as you go down, you start to throw your head up and flare your chest. And then as you start to come up, you let it relax again. So your back is doing this. And that is just an inefficient transfer of force from your legs to the bar. Okay? So watch you should be set here, right? And then boom, you notice your head goes back, you flare your chest up. You're doing the thing where you like set your back like a deadlift, but you don't set your back for a deadlift while you have the weight in your hands. You do it before you pick the weight up off the ground. You get tight and locked, and then you go. And it's the same concept here. You want to get tight under that bar before you take it out of the rack. So get under the bar and then set your upper back. Chest up, elbows up a little bit, right? Shrugged up, chin tucked, big breath, tight here. Pinch, like you're kind of pinching your arms together. And then unrack it and keep it. Don't let it go. Keep it tight. Take 2 steps back. Keep it tight. If you lost it a little bit before you start the rep, tighten it up again, take a breath, tighten it up, and then lean over and hold it. Don't let it go. Just lean over and do everything you can. Right, so keeping your chest up doesn't mean don't lean over. You still have to get the right back angle. It means don't let it relax. So you should be, this thing, if you look at your back right here, right, chest up, elbows up, that tightness, you should have that at the bottom. It should never change from this point, right from the time that you start the rep. So watch what happens. So it starts to get soft there. You're lifting your chest a little bit. So when you took that breath right there, that's when you should have reset it. But you just kind of, and nothing happened here. No, you didn't get tight at all. And then as you go down, you're gonna flare it. See, head goes back, and then it's getting soft again. So you have all this unnecessary movement. Your reps need to feel like they're mechanical, like they're exactly the same every time. And the only way you do that is by getting set and tight from one rep to the next and then just not deviating from that. But if you start moving the bar and you're trying to set your back and you're moving your head around, you're not tight, you're not gonna get tight, and the bar is gonna be moving all over the place, your weight distribution is gonna be all crazy, and you're just doing what you can to save the bar from, deviating from your midfoot, which it's doing, which is why you're lifting your chest too soon, okay? So all of this stems from the fact that you need to get set before you move the bar, right? You do that in the bench press too. You take a breath, set your back, chest up, and then you move the bar and you just keep that tight, right? You don't start like this and then as you're lowering the weight, try and do that, right? Because it's just that's very inefficient transfer of force with all that spinal movement. You get tight and then nothing in my chest moves. I'm just moving my elbows. Same thing here with the squat. You get tight and then you just lean over and you hold it the whole time. And your head doesn't move, nothing moves, okay? So I want you to work on that. I want you to practice pause squats, okay? Because if you get to you'll feel it if you get to the bottom with pause squats. So again, go to my website if you haven't seen these yet, and click on the pause squats video, read the instructions in there on YouTube, and do them every time. And again, one of the 3 questions at the bottom when you're paused is my chest up and tight as much as it could be, or did I relax? And if it is, you got to fix it. And then the next rep, you got to try and beat that. You got to try and go right to the perfect balanced bottom position without having to make any adjustments. Okay, so it's a little game. So read that, do those, work on those, internalize, get what that bottom position feels like. You gotta know what it feels like to be tight at the bottom. And do them with some weight for you. Like, not heavy, your first warm up with weight, and even maybe if you have like a light day squat, you can go even lighter, like maybe like 70% of your work of whatever you used on your heavy day, and do sets of 5 paused with some real weight. And it'll teach you real quick whether or not you're tight at the bottom. Okay. But those are the things you got to fix is getting into that position before you even take the bar out of the rack, establishing that position before you start each rep. If you lost it, before you start moving, you set that back again, keeping that back tight the entire time, including the bottom and on the way up. That's the deal. Okay. So work on that stuff, and depth is fine. The pause squats will also help with the knees caving in, right? So your knees are kind of buckling in a little bit. I can't see that much, but I can tell. So pause squats, you're down at the bottom, you're evaluating your knee position. Okay. All right, man, I got to keep moving. I am going to be late. And then my girlfriend's going to be mad at me. Okay. We got one more. Perfect. My man. No fisheye lens this week. We have managed to sort a new camera setup. So just for context, this gentleman, David, had a fisheye lens which made his stance look really tiny or narrow the whole time. So have worked on your advice from last week. It's been 11 days between squat sessions due to a holiday, so felt a little rusty. Please excuse 3 reps. Had done 6 prior to this, trying to get things sorted. It's not feeling especially heavy, but I'm struggling to stop the knees from coming in. Notes from last time, look down more at a fractional plate, feel okay, lean over faster. Really hoping I've not undone too much of the previous work. When watching the video, I feel like my knees are coming in a touch again. All right, you killed it last time. Your squats look great. Hey, okay. That does look more normal. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's watch these. So already, I think your toe angle might not be enough. You're kind of here. I mean, you kind of look like this with your toes. And that if knees out is an issue, a toe angle, toes not out enough, toes out makes knees go out. So if your toes aren't out, your knees can't go out. If you turn your toes out, your knees can go out much easier. So you might need to just angle your toes a little bit more. So they're kind of like, well, like you can't really tell what I'm drawing with that, but we'll see. All right. Set. Good. Yeah, these are pretty good. Oh, it's just 3. Okay, let me watch again. And then I'll give you my full rundown. So you're doing the flare thing again, okay? You're doing the thing where you see how there's no wrinkles in your t-shirt. It's round here. And then and you're supposed to set it. You're supposed to arch up. When you take your breath, set that back real tight. Not do it on the way down. We worked on that before. Right? You're going to do it on the way down here. As soon as you start moving, that's where you should have set it. Right there when you took that breath. Now you're setting it. See how now you have this arch in your back? You should have had that before you started. Okay? So you fixed that before. Don't forget about it. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because we've dealt with that. But you set your back before you start squatting. Because it's fine. Okay. Yeah, you did it again there a little bit. Depth looks okay. Yeah. All right, one more time through. Then we're going to wrap this up. Yeah, I think... Wait, let me fix this. Okay. Yeah, I think you need to turn your toes out or maybe rotate. You need more toe angle. So maybe rotate your heels in a little bit. In other words, the distance is fine between the toes, but maybe turn the heels in a little bit so you have more of an angle there. And because your toes straight ahead and your knees kind of almost inside of it. So I want that toe out a little bit more and knees out harder. I think that will help with the knee position, which will then help with depth because you'll be able to shove your knees out harder. So I don't think you need to take a wider stance. I think that'll make it harder for you to hit depth. So I want you to keep the same distance with the toes and to achieve the angle, turn the heels in, right? Okay, you got it. Okay. And then get that damn knee out, man. Shove it out. This one actually looks okay over here, but that one needs to be out more. Usually it's not common for it to be kind of lopsided. Set your back on the way down. And I think the head position, oh, I told you to like look behind you almost, right? I think last time. Head looks good here. Depth is pretty close. You need to lean over a little bit faster on some of these. Yeah, you're taking a little too long to lean over. Okay? So if you watch, we did this with the last guy. The back angle you take on the way up here, I mean, this is a little too leaned over, but see how horizontal you are? That's the correct back angle for you. So get here on the way down. And if you notice, we go back to the way down. Notice how much more vertical you are. Okay? So you need to set your back angle from the top. Like, okay, I'm just going to run down and then just give you all the pointers. So chest up when you take that breath. Back tight before you start leaning over. Then not as you're leaning over. Then you're going to commit to leaning over more. Try and touch your chest to that plate on the ground. Get your knees out of the way and just think about once my back is tight and I'm going to start the squat, I'm going to stamp my sternum on that plate. I'm going to get leaned over right away. So by the halfway point down, you're as leaned over as you're ever going to be, and then stay leaned over the whole time. Okay, stay leaned over for as long as you can on the way up. It's just like the other form check I did earlier in this video. Same issue. I mean, there's only a few things that go wrong with squats. Not leaning over fast enough, right? Not getting the knees out. But in your case, you need to lean over more right away by the halfway point, you've set that angle, and then just stay leaned over the whole time on the way up till you get near the top, and then you stand up. Okay? Turn the toe out a little bit more, or bring the heel in a little bit more. Get those knees out, and I think, it's good to go. So let's keep working on it. These are much better overall than before, but if you're feeling a little rusty after taking time off, this is understandable. So get back in the game and let me see another set, probably next week, and fix those things. But make sure they're fixed. If you're going to post another video, which I want you to do, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but this is generally for everybody watching. If you're going to post a video again, and you see that the things that I talked about in the last video aren't corrected, then don't post it. Because I'm going to say the same thing again. And this is not a critique of you, because these are actually different than the last video, which was great, but these are problems we've had in the past. So I'm not saying don't post next week. I want you to post again, but I want you to make sure that if you are going to post it, you have done your best to fix those things. So if you see that you're doing that flare thing on the way down, that's not it. If you didn't turn your toe out, that's not it. If you're taking too long to lean over, that one I can handle because I know more than you're kind of in the dark about whether or not it was enough. And I get it because you're learning. So that's part of the deal. So don't let that one prevent you. But if you're flaring up your chest again on these, fix it. And then show me one that you think is good. You think, okay, I think I got everything he said. Like last time, those were awesome, man. So, okay, little PSA for everybody that was not just for you. Thank you guys. Let me just make sure we got everything. I got to get out of here. Got to get to the airport. Great. We did it again. And you guys are awesome. I hope this was helpful, as always. And I will see you, I believe, next Friday. I might be taking next Friday off. I have some friends coming into town. I think we're going to take a road trip. So I have to look at my schedule. But there's a possibility that next week I will be absent from Form Check Friday. But we'll be back after that for sure. So thank you guys again, and have a great week. I will see you soon. Bye.